Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it,
To apologize. It's too
when I did it, I was fucked up.
late to apologize.
I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Now you see that. I'm not going to call P. Diddy a bitch. 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 Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. Sean Combs is a bitch. They bitches too. Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. You don't hit women when you're a man. You don't hit women when you're a man. P. Diddy a bitch. 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 Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. I'm not going to call P. Diddy a bitch or any other name like that. But I ain't gonna stop anybody else from doing it. I'm not gonna malign them. P. Diddy a bitch. 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 P. Diddy.
All right. Hello, everyone. I almost choked on my coffee. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's get ready to get black into it. Now, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. Also, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay, so hello, Fifi. Perplex is here. Reggie. Giggles is in the house. Latasha, Mr. Elevation, Nessie X, Nita to Mike's World, Miss Sheila, Laverne. All right. Buckhorse DC is in the house. Let's get into it. My Aunt Egypt. Auntie Leah is here. Okay, Giggles, did I say you? Most hated bronze flat power god, Deronda, Latoya, Alice is here. Okay. So, hey, Bridget. So, everyone, please be so kind as to hit that like button. I see you all, hell no. Okay, so let me just start this off. Hey, Jeff ATL, beloved. Okay, so let me start off by saying my apologies for giving you all bad information on yesterday. Bad information on yesterday. See, that's why. Let me just explain myself. Okay, because y'all know, honey. See, unlike some screw tubers, I'm not too big to admit that I was wrong. Okay, so let me just apologize for giving y'all bad information on Trump. Hey, Locked Vegan. Now, yesterday I told you guys that Trump said that the election was rigged for him to win. Well, I got that clip. I told you I got it from Lisa Cabrera. Now, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I just got that clip. So someone left me something in the comments saying, Queen, he was talking about the previous election. So I went back and listened to the whole thing this morning, and yeah, that's exactly what he was talking about. Now, I could see how she misinterpreted it, but that's why I should have listened to it for myself before I said anything, because he was absolutely talking about the previous election. He said, hold on, do I still have that clip? Yeah, let me just play it again.
Wasserman, they all came in on the Olympics, and then I saw Johnny, and we got the World Cup too. And you know, it's only because they rigged the election that I'll be your president representing you there. You know, I got both of them. I got the Olympics and I got the World Cup. And I said, you know, it's too bad. One was in 2026 and the other was in 2028. And I said, I won't be there. I won't be your president. But then they rigged the election and now we won. So I'm going to be your president for the Olympics.
Okay, he absolutely was talking about the previous election, because pay attention. He said, but then they rigged the election and now I won. Now, clearly, I'm sure you all can see how she could have thought he was talking about this election. But yeah, he was talking about the last one. Okay, Bookhurst DC said, that's why I don't say nothing, Queen. I just laughed. Well, you shouldn't have just laughed. You should have told the Queen, okay? You should have told the Queen. Because unlike some people, I don't kick y'all out of here for correcting me. Like I've told you all a myriad of times, if y'all hear me saying the wrong thing, correct me, honey. Don't have me sitting up here looking stupid. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Don't have the Queen sitting up here looking foolish. Okay? Now, like that day I mispronounced the word and somebody in the chat corrected me, okay? Now, Perplex said, that's why we love you, Queen. Your authenticity. You are not above reproach or correction. Love you. Thank you, beloved. I love you right black. Okay? Yeah, correct me, honey. I don't want to look like a fool. Mr. Elevation said, the Queen is petty but fair. Okay, Giggle said, it's very easy to mistake that for something else. Right. I could see how she thought that he was talking about this previous election. I mean, this current election. Okay, Jeff ATL said, thank you for clarifying, Queen. You're welcome. Faith says, Faith just became a member. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Okay, peace, love, and blessings. Rich said, I got your back, Queen. Thank you, beloved. I got yours, too. Miss Sheila said, Queen is so genuine. Thank you. Now, let's get into these receipts, honey. Oh, my goodness. First of all, I have legal documentation verifying that Diddy did it. Let me stop lying. But seriously, I have some legal documents we're going to go over. Now, but before we do, let's talk about DeVante Swing from Jodeci. Now, do you all remember the lawsuit where both he and Diddy were accused of nefariousness? Okay, by Liza Gardner. Well, she's dismissed him from the lawsuit. Okay, Jodeci singer DeVante Swing dismissed from lawsuit accusing him of aiding Diddy in 1990 assault. So, beloved Jodeci frontman DeVante Swing has been dismissed from one of Diddy's numerous lawsuits. Now, on January the 15th, Liza Gardner, the alleged victim, filed a notice of voluntary dismissal against Swing in the suit that she had filed last year, which accused him of aiding Diddy in the alleged rape of Gardner, a 16-year-old in 1990. Now, the dismissal was made without prejudice, leaving open the possibility of refiling the charges in the future. DeVante said, honey, don't take me down with your Diddy. Now, Gardner had initially claimed that Swing, who was in his early 20s at the time, was present during the assault. Unbeknownst to Ms. Gardner at the time, defendant Swing was in the room when this assault took place and did not take any steps to prevent this abuse from occurring. That's what the initial filing said, okay? A witness also testified that Swing was leaning against the wall or furniture or something, watching whatever Puffy was doing to Liza. Now, Gardner accused Swing of trafficking her and coercing her to travel across state lines under false pretenses, as well as providing alcohol and Mary Jane and allegedly prostituting her to the Bad Boy founder. Now, at that time, Jodeci was signed with Uptown Records. Diddy was previously an intern and talent director with the label before launching his own company. So Gardner's case came to light after accusations from Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie, who filed a suit accusing him of trafficking and assault. Gardner alleged that both Diddy and singer Aaron Hall took turns assaulting her after meeting her at MCA Records. Diddy denied all allegations, calling them fabricated claims aimed at financial gain. Now, this is not the only lawsuit that has mentioned Swing's name. In a separate case filed by Joy Dickerson Neal, claimed that Diddy S assaulted her in 1991 and recorded the act. Dickerson Neal said in her filing that Swing had informed her that he'd seen an S tape of her and the disgraced hip hop icon. Okay, so she's removed him. She's no longer filing allegations against DeVante Swing, so he's out of there now. But with that all being said, they're talking about those 9 tapes that Cassie turned over, right? So let's talk about that, because there were some new legal documents filed by Mr. Mark Agnifilo. Because remember, I reported to you all last week that, in fact, Mr. Agnifilo says that the freak-off tapes that Cassie turned over to the feds show nothing more than consensual people engaging in things that they absolutely were complicit in. Both or all were complicit in. The lawyers submitted a letter to a Manhattan federal judge asking about the recordings of elaborate S performances that authorities say Combs orchestrated, and wanted them to be turned over to defense lawyers for additional investigation. So far, they say defense lawyers have only been allowed to temporarily view them twice in the last 2 months. Now, Diddy pleaded not guilty to S trafficking charges lodged against him. Now, the defense's submission was similar to arguments at bail hearings, where defense lawyers insisted that prosecutors had demonized the sexual activity between consenting adults just to create a case. They say any fair-minded viewer of the videos will quickly conclude that the prosecution of Mr. Combs is both sexist and puritanical. It is sexist because the government's theory perpetuates stereotypes of female victimhood and a lack of agency. The indictment against Combs said the music mogul arranged sexual encounters between his victims and the male S workers that he called freak-offs, defined in the indictment as elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, choked his chicken while watching, and often electronically recorded. Prosecutors said the encounters sometimes lasted days and involved multiple commercial S workers, with Combs drugging participants to keep the victims obedient and compliant. They said the raids of his home in Los Angeles and Miami produced supplies for the freak-offs, including drugs and 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Now, let's get into the documents. Because here's the thing. They are really saying that Cassie looked like she was complicit in these videos. And you know what? I'm going to have to agree. Now, I haven't seen them, but here's what I'm going to say. I believe that in these videos that Cassie was participating in it, because there were numerous of freak-offs according to her. Not to mention, now Diddy may have told her, oh, you're going to do it or this and that. He may have coerced her into it, but what I'm saying is that's not going to be important as much so as what they actually can prove from the videotapes. Because if they bring these tapes in as evidence, which they will, and the jury watches these tapes, if Cassie is on there actively participating, acting like she enjoyed it, how do y'all think that's going to fare? How do you guys think that's going to fare? It's just going to look like a freaky deaky couple who likes to swing. Okay, and I'm willing to bet that's what they look like. I'm willing to bet that's what it looks like. So, and the other question I have is, why did Cassie keep these tapes all these years? She's had these tapes for years. I have several questions. I absolutely believe, Miss Sheila said, I believe that too, Queen. He didn't force her for 10 years. Exactly. Some of these things she was complicit in my opinion. Now, that being said, she gave them 9 tapes, according to the papers that I'm about to get into. And so here's the thing. Diddy is going to be reliant upon these escorts or these S workers who also allegedly participated in the freak-offs. He's going to be reliant upon them to testify that it was all complicit. Now, what do y'all think they're going to say? What do y'all think they're going to say? So, because we know that it's been said by Cassie herself that when they had these freak-offs, there were S workers, male S workers involved. And Cassie even said that she's the one who had to find them. Do y'all remember that in her lawsuit? Do y'all remember that in her lawsuit? She said she's the one that had to go online, I believe it was, and she would have to find these S-workers sometimes. That's participating in your own demise. You don't think the defense is going to use that against her? And here's the thing. Even if she wasn't complicit, even if Diddy told her beforehand, you better do it, you threatened her or whatever, like I said just a few minutes ago, the jury is going to be looking at her reaction in those tapes. Was she enjoying herself? Did she look fearful? Was anyone forcing her? Was she being beaten? You see that tape of Diddy beating her in the hallway at the hotel? That don't have anything to do with what's on those tapes. That has nothing to do with what's on those tapes. So this is what they're going to look at. Okay? This is what they're going to look at. Please pay attention. Now, we're not talking about this through an emotional lens, or at least I'm not. Okay? We should be looking at this through use of critical thinking. They put up there on the screen her having sexual acts with Diddy and S-workers, or her having these acts with S-workers while Diddy watches and gets his pleasure. Did it look like she was complicit? You know what those escorts are going to say? They're going to say that she was complicit. You know why I know they're going to say that? Because if she wasn't complicit, then that means they raped her. If she's having relations with an S-worker and Diddy's sitting there watching and getting his kicks, getting his rocks off, what's he watching? A grape? Or is he watching some other man have sex with his woman and that's exciting him? Are y'all paying attention? Do the feds really have a strong case against Diddy Combs? I don't think they do. I don't think they do. Let us not forget that it was just weeks ago that it was reported by The Source as well as Newsweek that the feds wanted Diddy to comply, to start talking. They said it was to give up names of the other people that were allegedly involved. But I told you all, I don't think that's what it was at all. I think they already have a pretty good idea of who else was involved. That was for public consumption. What they really want Diddy to be complicit in, what they really want him to comply to, in my opinion, is to give up the other tapes that likely showed nefarious and even criminal activity that have big-time elite people in them so they can get rid of the evidence, a cleanup job. That's what I think. Okay? Mr. Elevation said Diddy might just walk. Exactly my point. Now, let's get into these documents. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up. Everyone, please like and share. That's the least y'all can do. Y'all know the queen be out here dropping these receipts. Please pay attention. Okay? Please pay attention. So here's what's going on. Let me put my watermark on here. And you guys be sure to tune back in later because I'm going to be talking about Allie Carter. Okay? I'm going to be talking about Allie Carter and some information that Too Strong has on her. So you all check back in later. Keep your notifications on. All right, so here we go right here. Now, this is what Mark Agnifilo wrote to the judge. Dear Judge Subramanian, we write on behalf of our client, Sean Combs, to request a modification of the terms of the protective order, docket 26, to require the government to electronically produce videos described in paragraphs 12A and 12C of the indictment. The protective order includes a novel provision making this video evidence available for inspection. Hold on, you guys. Let me put my spectacles on. Now, making it available for inspection only and not electronically produced. Now, having viewed these videos, it is now abundantly clear that they confirm Mr. Combs' innocence and that their full exculpatory value cannot be investigated and used unless they are electronically produced. Okay, Rule 16A 1E expressly requires production of copies of such materials to the defense, and there is no plausible good cause to restrict access to them under Rule 16D1. Accordingly, they should be produced in the normal course so that the defense may evaluate and use them in the same manner as the other Rule 16 and Brady material. The 9 videos at issue are the so-called freak-off tapes with victim 1 that the government has repeatedly referenced, causing wild speculation in the media. Contrary to what the government has led this court and the public to believe, the so-called freak-offs were private sexual activity between fully consenting adults in a long-term relationship. Like many Americans in the privacy of their own bedrooms, they sometimes filmed their sexual activity. These videos unambiguously show that the person alleged in the indictment to be victim 1 not only consented, but thoroughly enjoyed herself. These recordings corroborate what witnesses have told the government, namely victim 1. Okay, the recordings also directly refute the allegations that Mr. Combs kept these videos as collateral, because Cassie's the one who had them. Now I want y'all to pay attention. Cassie is the one who had these videos, all 9, gave it to the feds. Now that refutes the allegation that Diddy had them as collateral, holding them over her or anyone else's head, because she had them herself. These recordings were not on Mr. Combs' devices. Where is y'all's case at, feds? And were not seized from his homes. Rather, victim 1 kept these videos on her own device for years and produced them to the government herself. Are y'all listening to the bullshit? Are y'all listening? Lord have mercy. If Diddy gets off, I'm going to pass all the way out. I am not even joking. I am not even joking. This case is absolutely paper thin. Do y'all hear me? Do y'all hear me? But let me continue. Lord, don't let the devil get off. Justice for Tupac. Okay, now, moreover, contrary to innumerable sensationalistic media reports, the videos do not depict sex parties. There are no secret cameras, no orgies, no other celebrities involved, no underground tunnels, no minors, and not so much as a hint of coercion or violence. Now, y'all know Mark Agnifalo's telling the truth. Y'all know he's telling the truth. And how do you know he's telling the truth? Because he's seen these tapes. And because an anonymous agent told the New York Post that they did have tapes of Diddy and other people, but they couldn't tell whether or not it was consensual. You know why they couldn't tell? They actually could tell. They just didn't want to say that. Because like I told you, if there was unconsensual, you'd easily be able to tell. You'd see the person fighting, struggling, kicking, screaming, or just lying there motionless if they'd been drugged. Okay? Cassie giving them these tapes was not to her benefit. And the question I have is, why the hell did she keep them all these years on her devices? I would think that she would have been repulsed by this. Don't you think the defense is going to say exactly that in court? Why would you keep something that is so vile a memory of things that have happened to you against your will wishes? Why would you keep it for years? You got a whole husband and kids now. You've moved on with your life. This devil is behind you. Why would you have these things as a constant reminder, as to re-traumatize yourself? Can you explain that to the jury, ma'am? That's what the defense is going to say. I want y'all to pay attention. This case is falling apart at the seams. But let me continue. Now, at bottom, this case is about whether victim 1 was or was not a willing participant in her private sex life with Mr. Combs. The videos confirmed that she plainly was. The videos confirmed that she plainly was. And she didn't give them 1 video. She didn't give them 2 videos. She gave them at least 9 videos. So they're going to see 9 videos and be able to look at every last one and ask themselves, did she look like she was enjoying it? Did she look like she was complicit? Now, here's the thing. If Diddy was sitting there choking his chicken and getting his rocks off, don't y'all think that she had to be at least looking like she enjoyed it? Okay, I just want y'all to think about that. Now, soon after Mr. Combs was charged, the parties began negotiating the terms of a protective order. During these negotiations, the government insisted over defense objection that certain videos obtained by victim one and depicted alleged freak-offs would not be electronically produced and would instead only be made available for in-person viewing while monitored by law enforcement. The government explained that victim one, whose attorney gave those videos to the government, requested that they not be produced to protect her privacy and that the government would honor that request. To ensure that we would receive discovery without further delay, the defense agreed to receive the discovery under those conditions, while reserving the right in the proposed order to later seek modifications of designations from the court. On October the 7th of 2024, the court so ordered the proposed protective order, docket 26. I want y'all to remember you heard this here first, by the way. Okay, I just want you all to remember you heard this here first. Now, after spending 4 weeks attempting to schedule viewing of the evidence, the defense was finally able to watch the videos under the supervision of law enforcement on November the 20th of 2024 and December the 13th of 2024. The evidence consists of 9 videos depicting 6 unambiguous consensual sexual encounters. Now, they have some of this stuff redacted, as you can see. In all 6 of these encounters, victim one was not only consenting, she was evidently happy, dominant, and completely in control. So don't let me find out that you mean to tell me Diddy had Cassie dominating these male escorts? That's how he got his kicks? See, that's going to make it even worse. If she was acting like a whole dominatrix, how do y'all think that's going to look to the jurors? How do y'all think that's going to look? This is all nefarious. Dornisha said she was given no signals for help or nothing in videos. That's what it sounds like, beloved. Mr. Elevation said, Cassie, now I have to question your nefariousness. Okay? Reggie said, no doubt Diddy used the tapes against Cassie, but she kept them herself, and that can be used against her character. Exactly. But here's the thing, beloved. Here's the thing. Even if Diddy has the tapes, they didn't find the tapes in Diddy's possession. So they don't even have proof that Diddy had those tapes. But they do have proof that she did. And the question becomes, why in the hell did she keep them? If what happened to her was so heinous, if what happened to her was so egregious, please make it make sense as to why you would keep such a memory or memories, because there's multiple tapes. Why would you keep memories of such a heinous acts that were perpetuated upon you? Why would you keep something that clearly, as you claimed in your lawsuit, traumatized you? Why would you keep evidence of you being trafficked and pimped out? Why would you keep it? Okay? AJ Matthews said, not the dominatrix. Well, that's what it sounded like. They said she was in full control. They said she was in full control. They said she was dominant. Those are the words they use in this filing. Now, they go on to say, there is no evidence of any violence, coercion, threats, or manipulation whatsoever. There is no evidence that anyone was incapacitated or under the influence of drugs or excessive alcohol consumption. There is certainly no evidence of trafficking. Are y'all paying attention? Rule 16 requires the electronic production of these videos, specifically Rule 16A. And let me tell y'all something else that would be real crazy. Let me tell y'all something else that would be real crazy. What would be real crazy is this. What if this not only proves that Cassie was a willing participant, what if after the fact, if Diddy gets off, he sues her for defamation and gets all the $30 million back? Okay? I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay. This is all crazy. This is all real crazy. But let me continue. Rule 16 requires the electronic production of these videos, specifically Rule 16A, I, E, or 1E. provides that the government must permit the defendant to inspect and to copy data that is within the government's possession, custody, or control, and that is material to preparing the defense. As direct evidence undermining the core of the government's case, freak-off activity is the core of this case. These videos are unquestionably material. Now, evidence is material if it could be used to counter the government's case or to bolster a defense. They reference United States versus Stevens. Also, they reference United States versus Urena. Now, the court's authority to enter or modify a protective order stems from Rule 16d(1), which provides that at any time the court may, for good cause, deny, restrict, or defer discovery or inspection or grant other appropriate relief. Okay, then they reference the terrorist bombings of the U.S. embassies, explaining that Rule 16d grants district courts the discretion to establish conditions under which the defense may obtain access to discoverable information. Under Rule 16d, the party seeking a protective order has the burden of showing that good cause exists for issuance of that order, and good cause remains the standard even where parties consent to a stipulated protective order. A party can demonstrate good cause for the issuance of a protective order when a party shows that disclosure will result in a clearly defined, specific, and serious injury, such as compromising the privacy interest of innocent third parties, causing a risk of harm to law enforcement or others, or impeding ongoing government investigations. Now, I want you all to think about what I said. Because what if those SEX workers that participated in this come into court and testify and say that it was consensual? Now you got the jury looking at videotapes that clearly look consensual, and then you have the escorts that participated in the room, that were in the room when it happened, coming in and possibly saying that it was consensual. Because why would they not say it was consensual? Especially if it was, as far as they were concerned. Because they don't know if Diddy told Cassie something prior. They don't know if he held a gun to her head and said, "Bite, you better get in there and do it." They don't know any of that. All they know is what happened in the room. And that's all the jury's going to know for a fact, is what they see on the film. The government cannot meet its burden. There is no good cause to prevent the electronic production of these highly exculpatory videos. They said highly exculpatory. I want y'all to pay attention. They said not just exculpatory, but they said highly exculpatory. Now, what do y'all have to say about that? Do y'all see how this is crazy? Do y'all see how this is all so nefarious? Okay. But let me continue. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Please like and share. As a matter of fact, let's have a word from my sponsor before I continue.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so with that all been said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes for your hair at Etsy.com. And also, you can purchase it at Walmart.com. And on Etsy, just look for Lisa Crafts. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. They said highly exculpatory evidence. There is no good cause to prevent the electronic production of these highly exculpatory videos. What does that mean? Exculpatory means free from blame, proving innocence. That's what they're saying. Now, because this case does not involve classified information or child porn, there is no authority to restrict defense counsel's possession, review, and analysis of the videos. And then they reference Walsh Act restrictions on discovery of child porn, Classified Information Procedures Act restrictions on discovery. Nothing in the Crime Victims' Rights Act provides similar discovery restrictions or an exception to Rule 16. Okay, moreover, any concerns regarding victim one's privacy interests are adequately protected by the remaining provisions of the protective order. There is no greater risk in granting defense counsel a copy of the files for the preparation of its defense under a suitable protective order that exists in the government's maintenance and use of the files in preparation of its own case. And then they reference United States v. Cadet. Now, they go on to say, granting defense motion for copies of alleged child porn in case predated enactment of Walsh Act. So they're saying that there's no reason to not allow them to do this because it doesn't have anything on it such as child porn, okay, which would be a whole nother story. Now, the government is free to designate the material as attorney's possession only, which is an APO, which would require that the material be maintained in a safe and secure manner by defense counsel. Shall not be possessed by the defendant. See, this is what I want y'all to pay attention to, because remember, when I reported to you all last week that they were saying, people were saying that Diddy was showing these freak off tapes to people in jail, Charlamagne the devil. Remember I told y'all that? I said, I have several questions, Charlamagne. I said, how would Diddy, first of all, be showing this stuff in jail? Can't he get in trouble for that? And I said, and then I told you all, I asked my friend Gavin Richard, who's a legal expert, how could Diddy be showing this? And he said, well, the only way that he could see him doing it is if he had a cell phone or knew somebody else that did. But I'm like, okay, why would Diddy be privy to this? I know he's able to see discovery, but him showing stuff like that, he could absolutely be in trouble. Okay, so Charlamagne needs to sit down somewhere. I never believed that, like I told y'all. Okay, so with that all being said, now it goes on to say, indeed, the APO designation is for the precise purpose of addressing potential risk to the privacy or safety of victims or witnesses and sufficiently mitigates any risk of disclosure. Okay, please pay attention. And again, it says shall not be possessed by the defendant except in the presence of the defendant's counsel. So Charlamagne is sitting up there lying. Okay, he's sitting up there lying, talking about he knows people in prison. They told him they saw the Diddy tapes. Charlamagne, no, you don't. Stop clout chasing. Now, even if there were some remaining privacy concern, any hypothetical risk that the videos would be disclosed in contravention of this court's protective order is substantially outweighed by the real and substantial risk that Mr. Combs' defense will be hampered by limited access to the videos. Unless the protective order is modified to require the government to produce copies of the videos, the defense will not be able to effectively make use of this critical evidence at trial. I want y'all to pay attention. What is he saying here? What's he talking about? He's basically saying they're going to show this as evidence at the trial. That's what they're going to do. Okay, he wants to show this, enter this as evidence in the trial. The videos include audio recording, but much of it is inaudible on the device provided for inspection. And what is barely audible requires headphones to hear. On certain videos, the lighting is also very bad, and the images are quite dark and grainy. Now, Mr. Combs needs to use defense experts, including inter alia experts, who could enhance the quality of the audio and video and analyze the metadata associated with the videos, including when the videos were created or modified. See, they're going to bring in forensics people who can absolutely enhance the quality of the footage so they can see what really was going down, so that the jurors will be able to get a bird's eye view. Now, the government has offered to use a neutral expert to enhance the audio and visual quality of the videos. Now, ask yourself, they're going to enhance the audio quality? This is what they want to do? So if they want to enhance the audio quality, the question now becomes, was Cassie on there begging for help? Was she screaming? Was she sounding fearful? Or was she moaning and groaning like she was enjoying it? Was she moaning and groaning as if she was enjoying it? This will be the question. And I'm not saying whether she was or wasn't, but I'm just saying that is going to be what the jury is going to be looking for. That is going to be what the defense will be pointing out. Because if there's anything, and I absolutely believe there is, according to Mark Agnifalo's filing here, Because I know he wouldn't write this filled with a bunch of lies to the judge, knowing that the judge is going to be privy to seeing the evidence of which he speaks. So anyway, it goes on to say, this novel proposal is inconsistent with Rule 16 and due process, as it would restrict Mr. Combs from retaining and directing experts of his choosing and require him to unfairly preview his defense. It also does not account for the other ways Mr. Combs seeks to use or to put the evidence to use. For example, Mr. Combs may need to show the recordings to other experts or witnesses consistent with the terms of the protective order. Mr. Combs will also need to extract portions of the videos to create trial exhibits, stills, and transcripts. All of these tasks will be impossible without obtaining copies of the video evidence. In sum, there is a much greater likelihood that the defendant would be harmed in his ability to prepare a defense by limited access to the materials on the government's terms than there is that the material will be further distributed by the defense in contravention of the court's order. So basically, the prosecution is trying to say they don't want to give Diddy, they don't want Diddy's team to have the tapes, acting as though, it might be shown to the wrong person. What about Cassie's privacy? Well, I don't know why they think they're the only ones that get to see it. Because in the period of discovery, the defense is should at least be privy to all information that they have. All evidence that they have acquired. Now, Brady also requires the government to produce copies of the videos. Under Brady, the government has a constitutional duty to disclose favorable evidence to the accused where such evidence is material either to guilt or to punishment. They reference United States versus Jackson. They say it requires production of information such that a defendant can take advantage of exculpatory evidence in time for its effective use at trial. Now, do y'all think this man would have been writing all of this out, made this entire filing, if he didn't think that this footage could possibly prove Diddy's innocence, prove that Cassie was a consenting adult? It is troubling that the government has had this evidence since December of 2023. Are y'all hearing this? They've had this evidence for over a year. And nonetheless brought these charges. The video evidence refutes the claim that victim 1 was forced to participate and can only be squared with her account if one assumes, as the government apparently does, that certain women cannot consent despite all indications to the contrary. Okay, arguing that when women are motivated by the loss of their livelihood and housing or experience abuse outside freak-offs, they cannot consent. And that is S trafficking. So he's asking, is that what y'all are trying to say? That once she can't get her bills paid or she's, lost her livelihood and all of that? Is that when we're going to say it's a freak off? That there was no consent and that it was trafficking? The defense is doing a pretty good job here as far as I'm concerned in this filing. Now, the government's view also depends on the characterization of freak offs as dirty, disgusting, or inherently unsavory, and therefore must have involved some amount of coercion. Now, they reference the indictment describing freak-offs as elaborate and produced sex performances that were arranged, directed, and sometimes lasted multiple days, referring to various freak-off supplies, including baby oil and lubricant. Now, the premise that freak-offs are inherently dangerous, shows that the government seeks to police non-conforming sexual activity and that it assumes, despite all evidence to the contrary, that a woman's willing participation must have been coerced. Y'all see how this case looks like it's falling apart for the feds? Any fair-minded viewer of the videos will quickly conclude that the prosecution of Mr. Combs is both sexist and puritanical. It is sexist because the government's theory perpetuates stereotypes of female victimhood and lack of agency. The prosecution reflects a paternalistic view that the government is here to protect women who cannot be trusted to make their own decisions about sex and are not capable of consenting to sex. that the prosecutors view as outside of the norm. So he's basically making the argument here that they're trying to act like if somebody's doing anything, if a woman's doing anything other than missionary style, if she's acting dominant in a position, if she's having relations with more than one partner, if she's doing things that are not just what regular people would do on a regular basis during SEX, they're implying that it had to have been forced, that she couldn't have just wanted to do this. These videos depict clearly consensual SEX among willing adults in a decades-long relationship and fundamentally undermine the government's case and victim one's claims. Indeed, they are entirely consistent with, they are unquestionably Brady material, notwithstanding the government's outlandish theories, and we anticipate that the undisclosed audio portions and metadata will contain Brady material as well. Now, let me stop right here and tell you all something that I just thought about. Do you all remember when I believe it was Roger Bond? Do you all remember when Roger Bond said that he was with Diddy? I believe they were on a boat or something, and Diddy accidentally butt dialed Cassie. And I told y'all I think Diddy dialed Cassie on purpose because he wanted her to hear what Roger Bonds was saying, and so that she would not be confiding in him anymore. Because Roger said Cassie used to sometimes come to him and talk to him about things. And I think Diddy did it on purpose. Now, that's just my opinion. He may not have. But do you all remember when Roger Bond said that Diddy and him were talking one day? Diddy accidentally butt dialed Cassie, and Cassie later told Roger Bonds, I heard you tell Diddy, I heard you tell him that he should have chosen Kim. Do y'all remember that? Once in the chat if you remember that. Once in the chat if y'all remember that. Once in the chat if y'all remember that. Shawnee says Roger backs up Cassie. Yeah, he backs up Cassie, but what he can't back Cassie up with, beloved, is what happened in that bedroom. Okay? That's what we're talking about right here. We're talking about what happened in their bedroom. What's on those 9 videotapes? All that other stuff, that's something totally different. We're talking about right here, right now, the videotapes that Cassie herself turned in. Okay? Shawnee says, I'm not going to victimize Cassie. At the end of the day, we're talking about what was on the videos. Do you all remember? Well, at the end of the day, hold on. The Griff Dies Harder says, that's a stretch, Queen. Sure, they'll try and prove that, but that's not going to work. You don't know what's going to work. Okay? You don't know what's going to work. That's your opinion. Just like what I'm saying is my opinion. I can't say it's going to work or not because I don't know. I'm just telling you how it's going to go. Okay? I'm just telling you how it's going to go. Like Reggie said, don't forget the defense's job is to make the prosecution look like idiots. We can speculate all you want, but let's face it, this is all Puff Daddy bullshit. Exactly. Okay? So with that all being said, Reggie says those tapes were not a good look. Right. Okay, so you all are saying you remember when Roger Bond said that. Now, here's what I want you to ask yourselves. So how is that going to look? What if Roger Bonds is called to testify, and I'm pretty sure that he will? All of these people that are telling these stories about Diddy, they're likely all going to walk into the courtroom and have to testify and be subpoenaed. So if Roger Bonds walks into the courtroom and then the defense asks him, because I'm sure they're going to ask him, Mr. Bonds, sir, did you and Sean Diddy Combs have a conversation one day about whether or not he should have chosen Cassie or Kim Porter? And then Roger Bond says yes. And then they say, did Cassie come to you later on that day and inform you that she heard the conversation? And then he says yes. And then they say, what did she say to you? And he says, she told me that she heard me having a conversation with Diddy, and she heard me tell him that he should have chosen Kim. Okay? Now, do you all remember how Roger said Cassie came to him about that? Cassie didn't like it, that he preferred that Diddy should have chosen Kim. Now, why didn't she like it? Because if this man's been S trafficking you, abusing you, making you have forced sexual encounters, taking you across state lines to make you engage in things to which you didn't want to actively participate, beating you and all of that, why would you be upset because some other man told him that he should have chosen Kim Porter? You see, now that's not me saying this, but I'm telling you what the defense is going to ask and how they're going to ask it. Their job is to discredit Cassie and any other accuser that is coming against Diddy. Okay? That's how that's going to go. So now imagine them saying all of this and then showing videos that may potentially say, showing videos that may potentially show that she was complicit. HCY Project says, I'm sorry, I don't believe Puffy is innocent. HCY Projects, please pay attention. Okay, I know some of y'all might be getting a little lost here, but follow the flow of the conversation. Did anybody say Diddy is innocent? I never said Diddy is innocent. In fact, I'm willing to bet money that he is guilty. But here's what y'all need to realize. I went to school for criminal justice, okay? So what I know is this, and I have 2 degrees in it, not 1. But with that all being said, what I'm saying to you is, like a police officer told me once when my friend was murdered, and we know that her baby's father did it, the police officer said, it's not what we know, it's what we can prove. So we can know Diddy is guilty all we want as far as we're concerned, but what the hell can the prosecution really prove? That's what we're talking about right here, okay? We're not talking about, if he's innocent or guilty. I never said that. Let's not paint narratives and take stuff and run away with it. I need y'all to put on your critical thinking skills. It is what they can prove. Because I still to this day think that OJ was guilty. But OJ was acquitted. So do you see what I'm talking about? Does it make sense to you? Does it make any sense to you? Reggie said it's not about his innocence. Thank you. Right? It says it's what you can prove, good people. Exactly. Exactly. I don't think Diddy's ass is innocent, and I want Diddy's ass to go down, specifically for what he did to Tupac. Now, I've always believed that he had everything to do with it. You think I want to see his arse walk out of there scot-free? What I'm saying is he just might be able to, depending on the strength of the prosecution's case. Okay, depending on the truth of the prosecution's case, beloved. That's all I'm saying. HCY Project says true. I was going to say that next. Okay. Because I don't want y'all to get it twisted and think I'm sitting up here caping for Diddy. Okay? Because I sure ain't. Queen Sam says the infamous line from the Jamie Foxx movie, law-abiding citizen. Okay? I never saw that movie. I need to watch that. Okay, Jeff ATL said that ninja was guilty of killing Nicole indeed. I absolutely believe it. I've always believed it. And like I told you guys, when I was in college, one of my professors worked with Fulton County Police, and she showed us the crime scene footage, the crime scene photos. And I absolutely think OJ did it. I know some people want to say it was a serial killer, but I don't believe that. Okay? I don't believe that. So with that all being said, hold on, let me go to this comment. AFBM says, just because you study don't make you win cases. What are you talking about? Don't make me win cases. I'm not fighting the case. I'm not the prosecutor nor the defense, beloved. I'm not fighting the case. And just because I studied wouldn't mean that, because lawyers study and go to law school and graduate and get past the bar exam. Some of them still lose. So that's obvious. That's beside the point. Okay, Donicia said it's what you can prove. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Faye says they need actual physical evidence. Exactly, beloved. And if they have evidence to the contrary of what the prosecution is trying to prove, all I'm saying is Diddy could get off. Okay, he could get off. Donisha says, we talked about how they ain't got no case right now. Okay, it's looking real thin. The case is looking real thin. But let's go back to the document because I'm almost done. So, at a minimum, they are certainly not ultra-sensitive materials that need to be subject to extreme restrictions outside of the normal course of discovery in criminal cases. Finally, preventing Mr. Combs' defense team from obtaining copies of the video so he can prepare his defense at trial would violate the due process clause and his right to present a meaningful defense. Now, here's something else I want you all to think about. Okay, now they say, hold on, let me read this last part. Okay, they say in determining whether to accord protection and the extent of such protection, courts should weigh the impact this might have on a defendant's due process right to prepare and present a full defense at trial. Even interest as strong as the state secrets privilege, a much greater interest than the purported interest here, must in certain cases give way to a criminal defendant's right to present a meaningful case. They reference United States v. Abdul Jahid or Jihad. Now, because there is no good cause to restrict defense counsel's access to the videos, and because the videos must be disclosed pursuant to Brady and Rule 16, we respectively request that the protective order be modified to require the government to electronically produce the videos of Mr. Combs and victim one to Mr. Combs' counsel with the attorney's possession, only designation under the protective order. And this is signed respectfully submitted, Mark Agnifilo and Tini Garagos. Now, let me say this too. Here's how we know that Charlamagne the devil is lying and he's a liar who lies. And I'm surprised that nobody who reported on that had the wherewithal to notice that Charlamagne's story sounded sketchy. That it was very unlikely that Diddy was showing these videos to prisoners or to inmates. So, with that all being said, according to this filing, the defense has not even obtained the videos in their possession. They have seen them. But they don't have them in their possession. And Diddy damn sure doesn't have them in his. Okay? They're asking, can they be filed electronically so that they can have them in their possession and so that Diddy can review them, not have them in his possession. Okay? APO. Attorney possession only. That's what they're asking for. They also make arguments that the state's case is thin and that this is in fact exculpatory evidence. And due to the rules of law, it's the legalities of it all. Because the defense is absolutely entitled to have any evidence that could prove their client's innocence. I want you all to also think about how I've been telling you that the prosecution has made a bunch of missteps, in my opinion. I believe they absolutely have leaked evidence. I believe they absolutely have. Even though the judge didn't penalize them for it, the judge just basically warned them not to do so. But then remember, after the judge even warned them, it came out in another publication, I believe it was the New York Post again, that said that they was leaking stuff to them. This is all muddying the waters. This is potentially tainting the jury pool. This is how you get a mistrial, people. This is how something gets declared a mistrial. This is how a jury can be deadlocked. I want y'all to pay attention because we have to think outside the box. Okay? We have to examine this from both sides. You see, what I'm doing here is playing angel's advocate. Okay? That's what I'm doing. So with that all being said, how strong is their case really? How strong is their case really? Because in the indictment that Diddy is in jail under, they mentioned victim one. And we all know that that's Cassie. And victim one gave them 9 videotapes And they say that there's significant evidence to show that Diddy was in a consensual relationship and that everything happened was, in fact, consensual. Now, if this is all true, because I haven't seen the tapes, but I believe it is true. Because why would Mark Agnifilo sit up there and file all of this if it weren't? If this was something that would further corroborate the state's case, do you think Mark Agnifilo would be fighting to enter this into evidence at trial? Being able to present this, being able to make it be shown more clearly and the audio be enhanced, you think he'd be doing all of that if this proved Diddy was guilty? Okay. Now, with that all being said, let's go to the next documents. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to go through this whole thing. It's 19 pages, but here's the thing. This is where Macy's, who was included in a lawsuit with Diddy, they've now filed a memorandum of law a law in support of Macy's motion to dismiss. Okay, that's what this is. Now, I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Remember the incident that happened at Macy's? Alleged incident, shall I say, that happened at Macy's. Now let's get into it. This is the guy that worked for Echo. United States District Court, Southern District of New York, John Doe against Sean Combs, Daddy's House Recordings, and so on and so forth. Okay, now this was filed a few days ago. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, defendants Macy's Inc. submits this memorandum of law in support of its motion for an order pursuant to Rules 8A and 12B6, dismissing all claims against Macy's Inc. in their entirety with such other relief as is just. Now, plaintiff's complaint alleges that in May of 2008, he was working as an employee of Echo Clothing at the Macy's Herald Square stockroom when Sean Combs, backed up by several armed bodyguards, orally raped him. The sole cause of action in this complaint against any defendant is for violation of the New York City Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Law. Plaintiff and his alleged assailant were both male. Okay, so please pay attention. Hold on, you guys. Okay, Kwame says feds have nothing from 2 home raids but baby oil. Exactly, beloved. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. And thank you for your contribution to the channel and your insight into the topic. Peace, love, and blessings to you. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, for alleged assaults prior to 2022, the VGMVPL, which is the Victims Gender Motivated, y'all know the law, does not permit claims against corporations such as Macy's or even against individuals who did not directly commit the assault. Plaintiff does not allege that Macy's employed Mr. Combs, who, in addition to being a music celebrity, was the proprietor of a clothing line that competed with Echo. Nor does he allege that any Macy's employees were involved or witnessed or had any foreknowledge of the attack. Now, the law was not expanded to permit claims against entities or parties other than the direct assailants until 2022. An expansion does not apply retroactively. The court should dismiss the claims against Macy's because at the time of the alleged assault in May of 2008, the law did not extend to corporations at all or to individuals that did not themselves commit the gender-motivated assault. The court should dismiss the complaint in its entirety because the allegations of the complaint do not only fail to state a claim that plaintiff was a victim of gender-motivated violence, but affirmatively contradict such a claim. Macy's does not argue that same sex rape, I didn't mean to say that word, but anyway, can never be motivated by gender animus, but that such a finding would require more indicia than the rape itself. And not only does plaintiff not plead any facts to plausibly support such a claim in this case, it is affirmatively contradicted by the facts plaintiff does plead. Plaintiff alleges that Mr. Combs, who is the same gender as plaintiff, had a history of violence. including sexual violence against both men and women, as well as a history of using violence as a tool of business competition. Plaintiff also alleges that during the assault, Mr. Combs made remarks reflecting racial animus and intimidation of a business competitor, but not reflecting any gender. Okay. Now, so basically, Macy's is trying to say that they should not be involved in this. Okay, that they should not be involved in this because at the end of the day, they had nothing to do with it. And the law where they allow for people to go back, have a look back window, and even involve the corporations or other entities outside of the people that directly committed the crime or the that are accused, that didn't come out until 2022. And they're saying that this all was supposedly happened in 2008. Okay, so they want out of it. Please pay attention. But let's continue. So they go on to say, but not reflecting any gender animus. Now, the court should dismiss the plaintiff's the claims against Macy's for the additional reason that plaintiff's allegations against Macy's are conclusory, and he does not plausibly allege any claim against Macy's. Plaintiff does not allege that Macy's or any other Macy's employees participated in, witnessed, or had foreknowledge of the attack. The only allegations in the complaint against Macy's are that Macy's conspired after the fact to cover up Mr. Combs' actions, destroy evidence, and pressured Echo to fire plaintiff. And however, these allegations are conclusory and not supported by factual allegations. Now, plaintiff's complaint alleges that in May of 2008, he was working as an employee of Echo Clothing in the Macy's Herald Square stockroom when Sean Combs, backed up by several armed bodyguards, orally raped him. Now, plaintiff alleges that someone knocked plaintiff to the ground by means of a blow to the back of his head. While plaintiff was on his hands and knees, Mr. Combs forced plaintiff to, I'm going to say choke his chicken. I mean, not choke his chicken, kiss his cucumber. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Now, plaintiff alleges that Echo Clothing was a competitor of Sean Combs of his own clothing brand, and that during the assault, Mr. Combs made comments specifically disparaging plaintiff based on his employment with Echo and his race. Suck my cucumber, Echo. That's what he claims Diddy said. You like that, white boy? Plaintiff does not allege that Mr. Combs or any of his associates or bodyguards made any comments relating to plaintiff's gender or his sexuality. Plaintiff does not allege that any Macy's employees were involved in, witnessed, or had foreknowledge of the attack. In a lengthy prologue to the complaint, plaintiff recites allegations of other crimes, allegations, and patterns of behavior by Sean Combs and his companies. Plaintiff's own allegations establish that Mr. Combs engaged in violence, including sexual violence against both men and women. Okay, so this is just being repetitive at this point. They're basically saying they want out of this lawsuit, that they didn't have anything to do with it, and that quite frankly, they should never have been listed or named in it. Okay? So, and they likely will be removed from the lawsuit, just like DeVante Swing. Even though in the case of DeVante Swing, he was dismissed from the lawsuit because of the accuser asking for him to be dismissed. So, honey, I'm just telling y'all, this is all real crazy. This is all getting more and more juicy by the minutes. Okay? And like I told you all before, is the prosecution really trying to win this case? I have several questions. Because some of this stuff they're doing is flat out stupid, in my opinion, as I've said before. HCY Project says, can Puffy sue for keeping him behind bars without bail if he gets off? No. No. Because they had a legit indictment against him. And quite frankly, there's multiple accusers. So no, it's not like he was, just thrown in there for no good reason. Like they had no plausibility to put him in there. Okay. Reggie said it's the juiciest juice. Okay. Sheila says, did he abuse his power for too long? Yes, I absolutely agree. So anyway, I'm just telling y'all, honey, Diddy is a whole hot mess. But hold on, there's more. There's more. Let's talk about it because now they're saying poor little old Justin Bieber. And I told you I'll pray for Justin. Okay. Pray for Justin Bieber because he's going to have a hard year. I told you all that already. Spooked. Justin Bieber so panic-stricken over being dragged further into Sean Diddy Combs' SEX case that's driving his marriage to the brink of collapse. So anyway, they go on to say, following the music mogul's arrest on trafficking and racketeering charges, Justin Bieber's close relationship with Diddy, okay, it says as a teen has resurfaced and was heavily scrutinized, with many critics speculating whether or not he was one of the Bad Boy Records founders' alleged victims. Now spooked, Justin Bieber, who's 30 years old, is said to be so panic-stricken over being sucked into this salacious case that he turned into a basket case, they say. And it's allegedly putting pressure on his already shaky marriage to Rhode Skincare founder. Sources say that Justin is sweating bullets, fearing that he's going to get served with a subpoena and have to recount every lurid thing that he saw while under Diddy's wing. So this is also nefarious. Are y'all listening to how they're making this also, salacious and dramatic? Okay, please pay attention. In the words of Tony Busby, it's absolutely histrionic. Okay? Now, it's left Haley, who has long deflected divorce rumors, wondering where all of this will lead her husband and their marriage. You know what I think? I think that Diddy absolutely did victimize Justin Bieber. And I think that all of this stuff coming to the surface absolutely is giving him, re-traumatizing him. That's what I think. I think that this is, in fact, this amongst other things that I believe happened to him. Okay, because let's not forget what they said about him and Lucian Grange. I think that this, amongst other things that have allegedly happened to Justin, and this is all alleged and purely speculation on my behalf, but I think that these things have led Justin to substance abuse, to have mental health issues, and definitely put, a negative impact on his marriage. Now, that's just my opinion. Kwame says, 2 home braids, March 2024, and only 9 tapes from Cassie. Okay, I have several questions, beloved. That's my point. I have several questions. What's really going on here? Okay, that's what I'd like to know. And thank you again for your contribution to the channel and your insight into the topic. Peace, love, and blessings to you. Now, Justin was just 13 years old in 2008 when he was signed to Usher's music label. Through Usher, he met Diddy and became the scandal-scarred rapper's protege and sidekick. Not scandal scarred. Where do they even come up with this terminology? But let me continue. In the video, Combs says, what we're doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. We're going to go full crazy. Y'all remember that video? So Bieber's dream has now turned into a nightmare as more horrific allegations piled up against Combs, who has remained in custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn since his September 2024 arrest. He's currently awaiting trial on trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, the insider says Justin has dealt with anxiety and depression issues most of his life, and the fears of the lid being ripped off of his days in Diddy's company are sending him over the edge. Now, I believe this absolutely to be true because, like I told you all, I have predictions of something's really not good happening to Justin. Okay, according to the source, the pressures of propping up the Peaches hitmaker have frustrated new mom Haley, who gave birth to the couple's first child, son Jack's Blues, in August, and is considering a $285 million divorce. The insider said that she's at the end of her rope with Justin. They just had a kid, and all he does is wallow in self-pity and anxiety. Now, there's only so much she can do for him now that he's lost in the depths of despair over this case. He said he's failing as a husband and a father, and Haley has hard decisions to make about their future. As much as Haley loves Justin, she sees Diddy as tearing them apart, and it may be the cause of their marriage ending. Now, this isn't the first time the young couple has faced heavy divorce rumors. Haley has said to have been fed up with her husband's immature attitude and sloppy style shortly before she announced her pregnancy last year. Then Haley's father, Stephen Baldwin, fueled speculation that their marriage was on the rocks when he posted a cryptic Instagram story asking the followers to pray for the couple. Y'all remember he did. I showed y'all some of the video stuff he's saying. He's basically calling out some of these people. Okay, he's basically exposing some of this stuff in a roundabout way. Please pay attention. So there is that. But now let's talk about Jay-Z. Let's talk about Jay-Z because here's the thing. Solomon Bucci says Jay-Z should be judged just like Diddy, or Puff Daddy as he calls him. Nigerian writer and social media influencer Solomon Bucci has Arbucci, I'm not sure how you say his last name, has explained why American rapper Jay-Z should be judged over assault allegations leveled against him, just like Puff Daddy. Attorney Tony Busby recently filed a lawsuit accusing Jay-Z, whose actual name is Sean Carter, of raping a 13-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs in 2000. Jay-Z has since denied Tony Busby's allegations, and his legal team have filed a motion to dismiss the case, asking the original lawsuit's alleged victim, Jane Doe, to identify herself so that he can properly defend himself against these false claims through the legal process in a transparent manner. Now, in a message uploaded to his X page, Solomon stated that anyone who thought Diddy was guilty of the charges against him should think the same about Jay-Z. He went on to say that Jay-Z's wife, Beyonce Knowles Carter, ought to be included in the same group that dragged American artist Nicki Minaj due to her partner's alleged assaults. Well, I don't see any lies detected. So far, I'm with you, Solomon. Keep going. Now, if you believed every accusation against Diddy, then keep that same energy as the accusations against Jay-Z. If you dragged Nicki Minaj because her husband was a convicted rapist, keep that same energy about Beyonce. Can I get an amen? I don't see any lies detected. Believing that everyone else is evil and your favorite is holy is insanity. It's man worship, rubbish, stand culture. This is what he wrote on X. That's what he said. So what y'all say about it all? Nessa G said, I agree with him as well. Jay said facts. Okay, Reggie said, amen, lights. Not amen, lights. Okay, Kwame says, Busby have no evidence and will lose his law license. Now, I will say this. I don't know if Busby has evidence, because one thing I think about Busby is that he's not showing his entire hand. I told you all before that he had a trick up his sleeve, and as it turned out, he did. And remember, y'all heard that here first, by the way. But thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. But here's the thing. I don't think he's going to lose his law license. He hasn't done anything unethical. Jay-Z alleging that he was extorted and blackmailed by Busby, that's not true. That man sent him a demand letter. Okay, attorneys do that all the time. That's how the law works. And in there, he never even mentioned money. He just said for them to sit down and mediate. Now, of course, mediation in this type of case, a civil case, is always pertaining to money, but he didn't mention money. So, all that is Jay-Z speculating, okay, or drawing a conclusion or even painting a narrative. So that doesn't mean that he did anything unethical. And in fact, from what I saw, he did nothing unethical. But I will say this, Jay-Z's not going to jail. Jay-Z's not going to jail. I keep telling y'all that. So I'm not saying he shouldn't be going to jail. I'm just saying that he isn't going. He isn't going. Whether he should be or not, he's not going. That's the truth of the matter. Roddy said the real demon is Jay-Z. Oh, I absolutely believe it. I absolutely believe it. Okay. I'm not going to say he's worse than Diddy, but I'm going to say at best he's as bad as Diddy, in my opinion. I mean, y'all don't think that Jay-Z's hanging out with people like Marina Abramovich for nothing, do you? What's that all about? Hanging out with a so-called Hollywood satanic witch. That's what they call her. Why is he hanging out with the likes of her? Somebody who's allegedly engaging in spirit cooking. And y'all don't think he's nefarious? Someone who's allegedly studied the teachings of Aleister Crowley. Y'all don't think he's nefarious? Let's not forget about Beyonce allegedly being a whole witch. Okay, sued in court for being one. Let's also not forget about the allegations of sex trafficking levied against Beyonce and Jay-Z. I brought you the receipts. Now, the case was deemed frivolous and thrown out, but that doesn't prove that it didn't happen as far as I'm concerned. And it was multiple people that brought forth these allegations. Let us not forget, not one. Okay, so please pay attention. Please pay attention, okay? And at the end of the day, here's the thing. Let us also not forget, which I forgot to do that video. I'm sorry, I got caught up. Remember I told you guys about the McMartin preschool incident when those kids were talking about tunnels that they were taken down to in the 80s and how they were saying those people did all these things to them. And they said those people were celebrities, famous celebrities, politicians, and so on and so forth. Y'all remember that? Well, that was deemed frivolous. They didn't do anything about that either, despite a whole archaeologist talking about having found those tunnels. So something can get dismissed or deemed frivolous depending on whether or not somebody rubbed hands with a judge, whether or not somebody potentially paid off prosecutors, whether or not somebody potentially engaged in witness tampering. I just want y'all to pay attention. So that doesn't prove that they didn't do any of those things of which they were accused. Okay? So I absolutely think Jay-Z is nefarious, and I think Beyonce is nefarious as well. And I think that Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Diddy are all the same type of people. That's just what I think. And, Solomon makes a very good point, because I'm glad he brought it up. A lot of people went in on Nicki Minaj talking about, her husband did this, her husband did that. But they didn't have that same energy, don't have that same energy for Beyonce. I find that all interesting. See, that's what I keep talking about with people who look like me having what I love to call selective outrage. Okay? That's what that is, selective outrage. Perplex said they all are queen. They all are. I absolutely believe it. I keep telling y'all to watch Rosemary's Baby when she was going to those people to help her. And then she read in that book how all of these people were involved in these covenants with the devil. How all of these people were practicing black magic, i.e. witchcraft. And she said all of them witches. Yeah. All right, so anyway, y'all can take that or leave it. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like, share, subscribe. Okay. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I got one more thing to say. Don't leave just yet. I got something I want y'all to hear, because y'all know A$AP Rocky got into a bit of trouble and now he's going to trial for that, right? Okay. So, and then Dave Chappelle made some jokes about Diddy on SNL. So I'm going to play the audio for that. Okay. Because they were talking about it on the Breakfast Club. I'm going to play the audio for that. And I'm going to put an overlay on the screen. So everyone, please like and share. Thank you, DeVante. Let me pull that up. And then I'm out of here. You guys. Until later when we talk about Allie Carter.
SNL stage over the weekend. And first of all, the opening monologue, of course, is Dave Chappelle, so it's going to be brilliant, but it was immaculate. He touched on a lot of things. So the first thing he talked about was just not wanting to take the job in the beginning, but he decided to take it anyway. And the minute he took it, all heck broke loose in LA with the fires. So let's take a listen to him joking about the fires.
This one is close to home. Now, I don't live in LA. I've never been like a big fan of LA, but I've built many, many memories there. And I have great friends there. And a lot of them lost their homes. And it broke my heart. And then I go on the internet and I watch these fire videos and I read the comment sections and everyone's like, yeah, it serves these celebrities right. I hope the house is burned down. And you see that? That right there? That's why I hate poor people. Because they can't see past their own pain.
Hilarious.
Yeah, then he went into
whole monologue was hilarious.
Yes, he went into the fires burning down like certain areas, and he made a joke about West Hollywood, which if you lived in LA, you know West Hollywood is called Gayborhood. Let's take a listen to that.
And then we watch the news or talk to my friends. They all have these conspiracy theories of what started these fires. Now, they say it's arsonists. I've heard this theory, and I'm sure there were some arsonists, but there were a lot of elements that came together to make this fire the catastrophe that it was. The winds were 100 miles an hour. LA was dry as a bone, and the levees. And if you were a rational thinking person, you have to at least consider the possibility that God hates these people. Sodomites. And that's not true because West Hollywood was unscathed. Because how can you burn what is already flaming?
Hilarious.
Y'all, then he gets into Diddy. Let's take a listen to
Great
that.
segue.
Well, I've been in a lot of trouble in my day, but man, let me tell you something. This guy, Puffy, buddy, this guy is in an enormous amount of trouble. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. They got this guy in a RICO case by himself. A lot of my friends ask me, they say, Dave, did you know anything about those free golf parties? And I'll be like, nah, man. I don't know anything about free golf. And they'd be like, well, how all these people you know was at the free golf, but she's the only one that wasn't at the free golf. And I thought about it for a minute. I said, oh my God. I'm ugly.
Hilarious.
Yes, everything was hilarious. And he always ends it with like a message because they bring him back normally during a really high like political time. So this was before the inauguration. So he did leave off a message for Donald Trump. Let's take a listen to that.
Man, remember, whether people voted for you or not, they're all counting on you. Whether they like you or not, they're all counting on you. The whole world is counting on you. I mean this when I say this. Good luck. Please do better next time. Please, all of us. Do better next time. Do not forget your humanity, and please have empathy for displaced people, whether they're in the Palisades or Palestine. Thank you very much, and good night.
And go ahead.
I loved it. No, yeah, I watched it 3 times. You know, Dave is a master of ceremony, and the ceremony that is life. And he just brings things together in a very good, smart way.
Yeah, he does.
Smart, funny way.
Yeah.
Always.
One of the funniest.
And he brought back some iconic characters. They did a sketch where y'all know the Pop the Balloon sketch stuff that they do. Where there's a girl named Arlette who has like her own version of Pop the Balloon, and they
But yeah, I was high Saturday, but I sat there and I watched the whole hour. Drop on the clues bombs for Glorilla too.
Or former homeboy
A$AP Rocky?
A$AP Rocky.
Yep.
Yeah, and there was reports A$AP Rocky had said that A$AP Rocky.
Hold on, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, and there was reports A$AP Rocky had said that A$AP Rocky allegedly pulled out a gun, shot the gun grazed them, the bullet grazed them, whatever. So that is finally going headed to court. They'll actually be in court today, Tuesday. And the judge has already said, like, look, I don't care who he is. We are going to make sure that this is done fair. This is done the right way. We're going to move swiftly to get a jury. And then once the jury happens, they're going to start going down, the whole case. Cameras will be allowed in the courtroom. For anyone who doesn't remember, A$AP Rocky is being charged with 2 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic weapon. He did plead not guilty, and he's facing up to 24 years if found guilty in this. And one thing to point out here,
24 years.
Up to 24 years, yeah.
And he really got shot or he got grazed?
The reports were that he got grazed.
Okay.
I think one was in the hand. It was something with the.
Just asking.
Yeah, the reports I know were grazing. But I think because he's taking it to court. Normally, when you take it to court and you want to fight it, they lay out all of the potential years, and then you know what I mean.
Taking it to trial, you mean?
Taking it to trial. Sorry, yeah. But one thing I wanted to point out in the beginning of all of this, Joseph Tacopina was his attorney. People are pointing out the similarities that was Trump's former attorney.
Yep.
Y'all remember Trump was trying to help A$AP when A$AP was A$AP Rocky. It's 2 A$APs was over in Sweden. I
think he was in Sweden. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was stuck over there.
He was detained for a minute.
People were like, okay, well, if something does happen, at least President Trump he's an A$AP Rocky fan. At least he'll be good. So we'll keep you guys posted with that.
You niggas and you dot connect. Yeah, the way y'all connect dots, the way y'all do math is.
It sounded good to me.
It's so
I got you 2 + 2. I got it. I got it. I saw it.
He wasn't feeling the 4.
No, he wasn't feeling the 4.
It was seasoned math. Look.
He just hired a lawyer.
He hired him a little minute ago too, though. But that's not a coincidence.
He probably was a bunch of people's lawyer, but y'all look up who else lawyer he was.
Let me see.
He's probably just a good lawyer.
It's not important.
No, I've heard his name a lot.
I heard you connect. You connected the dots the right way.
Thank you.
All right.
Shoot.
Well, Charlamagne, who are you giving that donkey to, man?
4 after the hour. These people shouldn't have tried to connect no dots whatsoever. But their name is Jennifer and Dustin Nail. They need to come to the front of the congregation. We would like to have a word with them. I understand people want to help what's going on in LA, but there's a way to help.
Oh, God.
And there's a way to hurt.
Okay.
They hurt. We'll discuss.
All right. We'll get to that next. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
All right. So with that all been said, that's the news for now, beloveds. Okay. Locked Vegan, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Peace, love, and blessings to you. Okay. So everyone hit that like button on your way out. TC Dan said this is all very interesting. Indeed it is. Okay. Indeed it is. Giggle said Diddy has always looked dead inside to me. Laverne said Diddy looking deviled up in that photo. I don't think that other person is Diddy. Okay. That's a Nigerian, I do believe. This right here isn't Diddy. Okay, that's a Diddy lookalike. They don't even have the same nose. There's no mole under the eye. That's not Diddy. That's not Diddy, y'all. Reggie said, great broadcast, queen. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so listen, I hope you all enjoyed it. I love you all to life. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Keep your notifications on because I will be going live later on to talk about Allie Carter. And also, please make sure you double check to ensure that you're still subscribed to the channel, because ScrewTube just unsubscribed somebody, just so y'all know. I look at the numbers before and after the broadcast, and at least one person's been unsubscribed. Okay, so please pay attention. And I keep telling y'all, they do it real slick. It'll be one person here, two people there. So make sure that you're still subscribed, okay? And in the meantime, between time, enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your life.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now.
That's
See
right.
a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy.
Real slick.
I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got